share some of my journey about the importance of building strong relationships with people. I think really just set a good foundation for all of us in the room to be able to connect.
For sure. You're a breath of fresh air.
Oh, thanks, Sarah.
Which is lovely. Well, let's get into it. There's so many things that I want to uncover, but I love really starting at the beginning, like where you grew up. Tell us about your Colorado adventure, your kiddos, anywhere you want to start.
I would love to. So I'm originally from Syracuse, New York.
Okay.
And when we grew up with a ton of family around us. I come from a long line of entrepreneurs. So my grandfather built an Italian meat market in upstate New York in Syracuse. And we grew up just basically at the store, shopping, eating all the good Italian food. It was just so fun. And then my dad really felt like there was good opportunity out west. And so he took us all and moved us out to Denver. And I will never forget pulling away in the U-Haul and thinking, I can't believe we're going somewhere snowier than here. That's what I thought at the time. And we got here and, turns out Colorado's pretty darn sunny and compared to upstate New York, and really he moved us here for opportunity. And so shortly after my parents started a garage door company, and we often on Saturdays would go door to door handing out flyers, all of us kids. And it was really just this organically grown, and now they've become a really successful affordable door company. And my parents worked in the truck for years and just showed us kids what work ethic is and how to make a difference. And so I am just so lucky to have parents that just continue to show us what hard work was and what the outcomes were for that. So we grew up in Southeast Aurora and went to Grandview High School once. And when I started there, it was really small. It was only about 300 kids. It was 9, 10, 11, and then it grew. And so by the time we graduated, it was really large. But I remember going to the school, and it was brand new and beautiful and gorgeous, and thinking how lucky we were compared to if we had grown up in Syracuse, which was just a different economy. And so coming out here and having so much opportunity, it was fills my heart to think about. So we lived there, and then I met my husband shortly after in my mid-20s, hiking the Manitou Springs Incline in Colorado Springs. I met him at the top of it, which is a really fun story. And fast forward, we have two beautiful girls. They're 12 and 10, and it has been so fun to be able to raise two young women and just show them what being a strong leader is, especially in this role. But looking back, I would have never guessed I'd be in the role of mayor. I have to be totally honest. It was just, it's really fallen on my lap. And so after I graduated high school, I went to beauty school and became a hairstylist. And my husband has always been, anytime I have a crazy idea, he's like, yes, go do it. Go follow your dreams, whatever you want to do. So I worked behind the chair for a long time. And I said, I think we need to open our own salon. So we purchased a commercial space in Lone Tree and purchased our home in Lone Tree, and really just fell in love with everything that the city offered. I mean, when you drive into Lone Tree, you know you're there. It's aesthetically beautiful. You feel safe. You have access to so many different kinds of businesses, whether it's the Good Target or, Monk and Mongoose or Vibe Foods or Park Meadows Retail Resort. It just has everything you need, and access to great transit. I mean, it was the perfect place to grow our family and our business. And so we've opened our salon 7 years ago, Roots in Maine. And I will never forget when we opened our doors, we were ready about a week early, and we needed our certificate of occupancy. So our superintendent said, okay, they'll be here in a week. I'm like, but we're ready today. And I said, what if I call the city building and just ask them, can you send somebody out today to get our CO? And he actually laughed at me and said, no, that doesn't happen like that. Like, they don't just come out the same day. So I'm like, well, I'm going to try. So it was my first experience with interacting with our local government. Called, and someone actually answered the phone, and I said, we're this new hair salon and just curious, we're ready a week early for our CO. We have a ton of product, love to start moving in, make us, an easier transition over the week. She's like, yeah, can we be by in an hour? Here's your 15-minute window. I mean, and so I hung up the phone. I'm like, I told you. And so, sure enough, the inspector came out. We got our CO early, and it just inside me, I knew I needed to give back to the place that I was growing my business. And so, we opened our salon. It was really successful, and then I started to look at opportunities to lean in, and I really had no idea what a planning commission was, what city council really. I mean, I knew they had a budget. I know how taxes are collected, but beyond that, I really had no clue. And I think that's what makes me so great for the role is I have come into this. I started on the planning commission, and I really just wanted to kind of know what was happening in the city, and you give feedback. So, for example, when you look at our Target in Lone Tree and how it kind of blends into the aesthetics around it, those are things that a planning commission would help with. You really put your personal touch on these buildings, whether it's parking or sidewalks or building color, those are the things you do on the planning commission. And I fell in love with realizing that there was a plan in place that the city followed. And then I put my name in the ring for city council, and I scared off all my competition because I just loved our city so much. I ran unopposed for city council and served on city council for a couple of years. And then when our former mayor Jackie Millay was term limited, I my husband was like, if you don't do this, you're nuts. You love this role so much. And so ran for mayor, and here I am today. And I just feel so honored and privileged to be able to own and operate a brick and mortar business, have a family that we're in the city. We own our commercial space in our home, and just a lot invested in our city. And I'm honored to be able to help it grow and redevelop in all the right ways, and making sure that our community is a part of it as we go along and their voices are heard along the way. So it's been a fun journey. Wild. Never would have guessed I'm here. And I still, as you were just saying, oh, here's her title, it still kind of catches me off guard. I still can't believe that I'm honored enough to serve in this role.
For sure. My goodness. Well, you unpacked a lot. I mean, that is amazing. I love that you come from an entrepreneurial family. And I had no idea that it comes from your grandparents and your parents. So I grew up the same way with the entrepreneurial family, and it gets so ingrained because you learn so much through that process of how to survive on very little and how to be very efficient and cost effective and to really build relationships. And that is, I mean, there's so many things that I'm drawn to you about. It is your work ethic, it is how personable you are, and that you're so driven by relationships. And I can hear that in your entire story with how you grew up in your family and your two beautiful girls, and even hiking up to the top of Manitou. I'm doing that for the first time this summer, and I'm really terrified. So I was like, ooh, maybe, there'll be someone at the top that maybe will champion me. Yay. And it's so inspiring that, you can tackle it all with grace and poise in such a fashion that you do.
Thank you so very much. That is so kind of you to say.
It's true.
Really, when I look, I think oftentimes we look forward, we, could never see this coming together, like I mentioned. But when you look back, you start to realize all the dots are connected to get you into the position. And I was just sharing actually at the conclusion of our State of the City with our former mayor, Jim Gunning, that being able to work behind the chair as a hairstylist I've had the opportunity to get to know every personality, every view, every hair type, of course. But really, what it's taught me is how important it is to find what you connect with someone and find their why out, and then that's where you have the best solutions, the best outcomes for whatever challenge or scenario you're set with. And that can be, in the development world, that can be in the parks world, that can be applied so easily to the council and mayor role. And I just feel like I'm so lucky to be able to keep my finger on the pulse a little bit with having conversations with people in my chair that always are, hey, what's going in here? And, fill me in. And I love that I get to hear that from not just Lone Tree residents, but regionally. And I think it's a differentiator and has really helped in this role. Plus, I just love people. So I love to get to know people and what's important to them. So this role is just, it's been so fun to be able to add to my village of people.
Nice. And this is kind of a big 2-month-ish right here. A lot of things have collided in April and May. So not only did you have an age birthday,
Yes, I did.
very recently.
I turned the big 40. You could
Okay,
say it.
I wasn't gonna ask.
I won the 40 under 40 Denver Business Journal Award. I was lucky enough to get that, and I made it by 6 weeks.
Nice.
I love
So
it.
I'm like, I just made it very clear with everyone. I barely skimmed in there, but
love
I did.
it.
I had a very big birthday, and you know what? I love it. Bring it on.
You are so, see, this is why I love her. It's you're authentic, and here I am. And I've loved my 40s. So
good.
it's an amazing decade.
So far, so
It
good.
is take on the world because here I come.
That's right.
So, yeah. Plus, you are celebrating this month, I believe, being mayor 1 year.
Yes, exactly. In 2 days will be election day. May 7th last year was the day that I found out I won mayor, which is
Nice.
unbelievable that it's been a year.
Yeah.
So it just flew by.
How is this feeling for you? You've been a year in. Has it been what you've thought? What are some of the challenges that you've encompassed? and
That's a
encountered?
great question. I will share with you. I remember last summer being like, okay, I've done this a month. All right, I can do this. You just like hype yourself up. The first year, my husband and I sat down and we were just debriefing last week. I'm like, it's been a kind of a wild ride. I've been very busy, but it's also I've learned a lot of what I can hand over to other people, and I have so much trust in our city council, who is incredible partners, and our North Stars are all the same. So the way we are working to get there may not always, we might not have the same view, but we know where we're going together, and I believe it makes for better outcomes. And we have a staff of about 150. I work directly with our city manager, and he and our executive team and all of our staff and our police department, they make us look so good. They are the ones that really, we set the policy and they do the work behind it. And being able to hand over things to them, hey, I don't have time or bandwidth to do this, could you help me? Really, they're there to just support us. So I've learned delegating is okay. I don't have to do it all, and that's okay, and asking for help. And also I've learned the balance of what I absolutely should be at, and what I can maybe not attend. As we say, being mayor is a full-time job, but technically it's not a full-time job. Our city manager is this full-time staff person that continues to keep the things moving along. And I work behind the chair still as a hairstylist. So I've figured out the balance of behind the chair and my clients and the mayor role. But they both fill my buckets in very different ways. And I love both jobs. And so it's been a year of understanding the balance of my schedule, but a really educational year. I have learned there's just so much information that's coming in all the time, whether it's real estate deals that are happening within the city, or our parks that are being built, or major projects, or something with the police department. I mean, we say it's like a box of chocolates. You just never know what you're going to get in the day of being mayor. And so just taking in the information and asking good questions, and I just have the intellectual interest to learn about everything we're doing and really just dive in. So it feels good that I have, a lot of knowledge and still, of course, a lot to continue to lean in and understand and work together with. So I'm happy to have a year under my belt, and it's really wonderful to be able to ask, can you help me out here? Can you go to this? I can't make it. And so I'm so happy I'm at a year. I just have to say, it's like I can take a breath, like, okay, I got this, and I'm enjoying it. Of course, along the way, I'm having a ton of fun in this role, but I also feel like I'm making really great positive impact for our city and our region. And that's the important job for me.
You have a lot. You radiate positivity. I absolutely love that. I'm so drawn to it. And Lone Tree is celebrating a birthday.
They
this
are.
year as
Lone
well.
Tree's 10 years younger. Lone Tree has a really big deal this year. We are 30. So on November 7th, 1995, our city was born. Then 3,000 residents. Today we have 15,000 and growing. And it is really important to take the moment to celebrate all that we have done. Looking back at how we got to this point that we're in, I think is so important to understand the strong foundation that we're standing on today. And my predecessors that have served before me and our staff have really continued to just lean in and have passion for what they're doing, and just a shared vision for where we're going. And really excited to look towards a very bright future. Lone Tree is unique. We have a lot of undeveloped land and an opportunity to redevelop land. So we've got a ton going on, but taking a moment to pause and celebrate 30 amazing years. I unveiled last week at my very first State of the City, our new tagline, Deep Roots, New Heights, which is the perfect nod to where we came from and where we're headed.
I agree. I love that tagline too. Deep Roots, New Heights. And I love that you figured out balance, because it's so many of us are, and I struggle with it daily. It's like, where am I and what can I have the capacity to do? And my joke is, if it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist. It is floating out in the clouds somewhere and it's not on my agenda. But it is, a lot of us are working mothers with multiple jobs, and and I love that you said delegate. I think a lot of us have maybe a little bit of the fear to let go and say, I actually need some help. Can you go and represent and go do this task for me?
Especially as a business owner yourself.
Yeah.
That definitely comes along with it. And it's great to hear that you have so many different aspects and parts of the city that worked well together in your first year. But yeah.
I agree. And a huge shout out to Roots in Maine. I went to your salon, I think last week, and she was absolutely fabulous. And everyone there is just a joy, and it's beautiful, and it's just lovely. So for those of you that need a coloring or cut, please go check out her beautiful salon in Lone Tree. So for those just tuning in, we have Mayor Harmon here from Lone Tree. And I want to put your amazing, I can't believe you guys can text. You can text this number or call if you have questions for anyone for the city of Lone Tree. That is unheard of. So please take advantage if you live in Lone Tree or have any questions.
I didn't even know that was possible.
I didn't either. I was a little floored when you're like, you can text this number. So for the city of Lone Tree, if you have questions about anything, city council or a question for the mayor, 720-582-3586. And you can go to cityoflonetree.com and find out everything that's going on in the city, get involved. I highly recommend that to people. Is a lot of people don't know who their city council members are, or who the mayor is, or what's going on in the future. And I think to get involved and know at least some basics, and I'm saying this for myself, because I was in the dark for a long time. I'm like, I don't know who my mayor is and what's going on, new developments, where is my tax money going? So I think it's really important for those of you that live in Lone Tree and work in Lone Tree to know who your people are.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah, the texting is so nice, because even over the weekend, I got a text, hey, could you by chance swing by this event? And so all of our council members have our phone numbers on the website, and it's a great, easy opportunity to, hey, what's going on here? If you ever need anything, we're always here, and we want people to know that we're reachable. We're just like you. We want to serve our community to continue to make it what we all love, and so it's just an easy way to communicate. So thank you for sharing.
Of course. I'm curious, who has been, or who would you like to be your mentors on both the salon side and on the mayor side?
Oh, I love that question.
Told you I was going to throw you a few.
Okay, I love it. So my mentor at my work at Roots in Maine is my sister. So she's older than me. She's 4 years older, and she was born basically to be a hairstylist. Like, we knew from like the moment she was so young that she tried to do everybody's hair.
Cutting Barbie's hair.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely trying to cut mine and color and, try all the things in our at home, bathroom. When we were growing up, we had a lot of accidents, like blue hair, orange hair, you name it, we tried it. And so when I graduated high school, I really was unsure what I was going to do. And she was making great money and enjoying the job. And she's like, just go to hair school. I actually met with the owner of Antoine Duché at the time. And he said, I'll pay for your school. Your sister has been so successful. Let me just take care of your school. You go, enjoy, and work for me for a couple of years. And I did. And it was such a great opportunity. At first, I was like, I don't know if I enjoy this career. But as the years have gone on, what I realized is you start to attract people that, are like you, and you get along. And the hair part is like 5% of it. I mean, you really need to know what you're doing with the hair. I'm not saying that, but it's so much personality and just getting along with, and connecting with the person in your chair and then being good at doing hair. And so I've enjoyed having my sister. And so we actually own the salon together. So her and her husband work at the salon and are 50-50 owners with my husband and I. And so it's been great to have a family owned and operated business. But as far as mayor goes, Jackie Millay, our former mayor, has been the best mentor to me and just a great friend and a good sounding board. And when I, said I was going to run for mayor, it's just so nice to be able to call someone and say, like, here's the people, this is what I'm doing, here's what I'm thinking, am I missing something? Can you give me the history on this? And so she's just been just a great friend. And I said, okay, if I'm lucky enough to win the role, which I did, just pick up the phone when I call, and she does. And now it's been such a smooth transition when you can lean on the people, on actually all three mayors that have served prior to me, to be able to call and say, hey, tell me a little bit of history on why this is the way this is. So, I make sure I understand, the maybe unintended consequences or what the best solution is moving forward on all different sorts of things, issues and topics. So it's been, I love to have people I can lean on. I am very confident in saying I don't know it all. And I love for people to help me understand their perspective and their view. And I think it makes me a really great servant. So
For sure. What has been the best piece of advice from the previous mayor that she gave you?
Oh, that's a really great buckle up. Sorry. You know what? The best advice that she gave me was trying to find the balance, because you can let it take. I mean, I could do mayor work all day, every day, every moment of the day, and it would still never be enough. And so just being comfortable with having a list of to-dos, and people don't need to hear back from you within an hour on an email. That can wait. And, just making sure that my cadence is appropriate, and so that, you don't get burnout. And she's reminded me that a couple times, and it's so good to know, okay, everybody will, I'll get back to everybody, and it doesn't have to be, timely. And so just trying to pace myself, and that's been really, really just impactful advice, especially the first year, because you want to do everything, and you want to be everywhere, and you want to do it all, and sometimes you don't have the bandwidth to do that. So that's been good. But I also have to say it's been wonderful, the things that I have been able to bring my kids and show my kids that I've done. I mean, they're not my mentors, but I do it for them. I want them to be proud of the place that they call home, and I want all of these young children, students, this young generation of leadership, to show them what serving is, and being positive, and how important it is to talk about what you're doing right, and not put others down. And so it's been a fantastic opportunity. They also, I think, helped me be a better leader, is doing it for them, and showing my girls, but beyond that, the good work that's done, and how successful you can be if you lead with love.
I think that's wonderful too, especially your kids getting to see you doing that. I think, unfortunately, what happens is a lot of local stuff just does not get paid attention to. People pay attention to the overall stuff, the federal stuff, and it's like, no, this is your backyard, this is your neighborhood, this is what you should be paying real attention to. So I think that's really great that you bring your kids around and everything. I did have a question. Were there any overwhelming challenges to get to mayor? And you had a lot of support from different mayors, and you definitely do right now, but getting to that step, what was out there that was just kind of overwhelming challenges to get there, if anything?
Oh, it was just making the decision to run for mayor it took me a long time to get there. It's so interesting what other people see in you, and sometimes what you don't look at in yourself. And I have felt from a really young age, and actually I was on a backpacking trip with a girlfriend, and she said, I wonder if someone told you when you were younger that you were going to make a difference in the world, and you just believed it. Because I've always felt this just deep desire to make the world a better place, and I never knew how or what I would do or what it would look like, but I've just believed that I could make a positive impact. And so this is this is definitely where I should be, and I feel so at home. But I'll never forget, I sat in my husband's office and tears rolling down my face. I don't know what I want to do. And he was like, he looked at me, he's like, "You're nuts if you don't do it. You love it. I'm going to cheer you on the whole way. We've got," and then he looked at me and said, "Okay, if the girls were in this position, what would you tell our kids?" I was like, "Oh, I guess I'm doing it then." And just showing them, whether you feel like you're ready or not, if you feel called to do it, you can prepare yourself and you can lean on others to put yourself in the position to do that. So it was interesting. Chris and I talked, and that weekend we went on a family backpacking trip, and I sat around the fire with the girls, and I told my daughters, "Hey, I'm thinking about running for mayor. What do you guys think?" And my older daughter looked at me. She's like, "Mom, go chase your dreams." And so it's just like, oh, I have to do this. I have to do it for her. And I'm only going to do it one way. And I'm going to do it only focusing on what I bring to the table, not about anybody else. It's just about me wanting to serve in this role. And I did that. And it makes it even sweeter to be on this side of it. But I mean, campaigning is definitely one of the hardest things I've ever done. I had 52 house gatherings of people that invited their neighbors over and friends over, and just sticking with, who you are, and being grounded there. But what I did learn along the way, which I've applied this year, was campaigning was so fun, but like maybe 5% of it you're talking about, like, here's what I think I bring to the table and why I think I'll be a great mayor. But 95% of it was people were like, "What's going on in the city here? What do you think about, where we're growing and so people wanted to know what was happening in their city. It was a great opportunity to educate, and because I didn't know before either, here's what our planning commissions do and our rec advisory groups. And you can get plugged in with Living and Aging Well or a youth commission. And here's what city council votes on. And here are your council people. And so when we hosted my first State of the City, typically we've opened it up to businesses, which has been a great idea to be able to share in other electeds. But I wanted to open it up to anybody that wanted to come. And so we sold out the Lone Tree. Actually, it was a free event, but we packed the house at 480 people at our Lone Tree Arts Center main stage. And just, it's an opportunity to share and educate people on what's happening in their city. Exactly to your point, Josh, of we all get pulled into the national level. But really, when I knocked on doors and shared that I was running for mayor, I shared with people, okay, it doesn't matter your party. What matters to me is, is your street going to be plowed? What's the police response time? Do you get water? Do you, and those are the things that we partner on. Or, how successful are our businesses here? And that is what matters. It's what matters to my brick and mortar business when it snows, that people can get off the highway and get to our salon safely, or feel safe coming here, or be able to stop and shop along the way. And so that's the local impact that matters. And I think you can get the most done on the local level and be as most connected to the people. And that's definitely my favorite part of the job.
And the impact and change in the world is just, you had it perfectly, because it's just like, in order to do that, your backyard. Yeah. That's how you start to change the world and everything. Yeah. And I like how you did mention businesses. We do have a question, my producer alerted me to, on our social media. So if you're watching on social media, always know you can comment. And if you have a question or anything for the mayor. This is from one of our viewers. How does the city of Lone Tree support local small businesses and entrepreneurs?
Oh, I love that question.
It's a great question.
It's so important.
Especially in Colorado, where, 98% is small business? Mm-hmm. It's incredible.
Yeah, I think we have 700,000. Does that sound right? Small to
in
medium
Colorado,
size.
yeah.
So in the city of Lone Tree, we have just over 1,600 licensed businesses in the city, and we have all shapes and sizes and every variety, from large employers to the mom and pop shops, which I own. And it is the most important piece of our city, is having businesses and small businesses be able to not come and just survive, but really thrive in our city. And we do that because we pull people into our city, and it's a destination city. So there's over 330,000 cars that drive through our city a day. And these small businesses need people to survive and thrive. And so anything that we can do as a city to make sure we're pulling people in. We also partner, of course, with our chambers of commerce, like South Metro Denver Chamber of Commerce, Commerce, really important to make sure that they have a space and a place. We have a fantastic economic development director, Jeff Hallwell, who is consistently leaning in and figuring out how to help support any businesses in our city. And that really sets us apart and up for success so that the businesses feel like they have a voice. Also, it's really important to make sure that they feel supported and safe in the traffic flows. I mean, those are the things that a city can do that really help the businesses. So I do want to plug in part of serving as mayor. We serve on a number, and council, we all divide up a number of different boards that we serve on and partner on. One that I'm on is the Metro Mayor's Caucus. It's 38 regional mayors. We meet 4 times a year and we talk about regional issues that up and down the Front Range. So big focus on housing and affordability, of course, which goes hand in hand with small businesses. What I just kicked off, we're calling it Vibe, and it's vitality in business and economy in our region. And what I really want to happen is I truly believe that if all of our mayors and all of our cities are successful in attracting and retaining businesses of all shapes and sizes, that all boats will rise with a rising tide. And we're at a challenging spot right now, to be transparent. And so I think we have a great opportunity for all of us to say, what's going well? And let's do more of that. And then let's share with each other. And so we are just getting ready to kick it off. And we're going across the board. So not just within municipalities, but housing and restaurants and development, and really plugging into anybody that wants to share. What are the challenges you hear on a national level when people say they need to relocate, and what can we do to help our state and our region? In a year that we had a $1.2 billion shortfall on our state budget, I think it's a year that we can start saying, let's lean in and let's start putting in into the budget instead of taking out. And so it's a good opportunity. I've got all the Metro mayors were on board, which was really exciting. And so I've created a small task force. We have about 13 of us that are going to go out and just continue to talk about what can we do and do better. And so we're going to work on that while this legislative session is on break and figure out where we can improve. And I think if I know for sure Lone Tree will be more successful if all of my municipality partners around me are successful. So just one little task at a time.
This is why I love this woman. It's so true. It is. I mean, you hit on so many good points that I could delve into all day long with you. It's not to survive, it's to thrive. I mean, I've been thinking about the businesses that have survived and thrived over many decades. I mean, Park Meadows alone is probably the most thriving mall. And even surrounding that, the restaurants there have been around for a long time and they are thriving.
I've always been amazed about that, just real quick, is a lot of the malls are shutting down.
Exactly.
But Park Meadows is, it's still exploding. So,
thriving.
yeah,
I want to
thriving.
plug really quick about Park Meadows Retail Resort. So the reason one of the main reasons that I think it's continued to be as successful as it is, exactly to your point, Josh, all the malls are seeming to close down except for Park Meadows. So we look at what are we doing right? And what we did right was our predecessor said we need to reinvest back in the mall. So half of the sales tax that is collected from Park Meadows Retail Resort, we take 50% of it and we share it back, and it goes into an account called the BID, or Business Improvement District. So that money has to be spent and reinvested within the mall. It helped the outdoor vistas. And then the other thing we did is we said, okay, when crime is increasing everywhere nationally, let's put a substation at the mall. And so we have a whole unit that is our mall unit, and the response time at the mall is 30 seconds or less on many calls. On most calls they try to. So making sure that we're keeping the lid on crime at the mall is also, I would say, critically important to the success. I mean, it's the reason you want to go there and shop. It feels safe. It's beautiful. And our retail vacancy in the city of Lone Tree is 1.9%. It's a record low in this economy, which is incredible and just speaks to how important our partnership with Park Meadows is. And quite frankly, our budget relies on their success also. So we need to make sure that they continue to be successful. And we all know that we'll do better when we work really collaboratively together.
Can you run for, President. I won't play
I
the
just love my
political
city
thing.
so
I think
much.
governor's next. I think it's.
Go for Prez. Come on. Go for broke. I mean, it's refreshing, and it's so much common sense to me as a business owner as well. I mean, we're all sitting here as entrepreneurs, and you want to reinvest in yourself and to your family and to your company and to your community. And that's exactly what you're doing. I've never heard of that low of a percentage. I can't wait to make reels off of that and have that repeat 24/7. Because what you are doing is creating an economy that is thriving. It is not about getting through the grind. It is, and the support system that you're talking about. And it comes from every single layer. And if it is positively uplifting, you will all succeed together.
Agreed.
And I love that you have that outlook.
Thank you so much. It has been so important back to where we started on relationships. It's all about relationships.
Completely.
And just making sure that everybody is feeling successful and set up, and you're sharing what's working and what's not. And that makes all of us better. I mean, we all know, I think that is part of what makes us great entrepreneurs is when you don't know, you find somebody that does and ask good questions and apply what, the nuggets of great information that people are giving you. And that it's the same in this role and across the region. And I know that our beautiful state of Colorado and our region has so much untapped potential that we have opportunity to continue to do better.
Completely. It is the mission. And I go back to that almost every single day. And this year is honestly no different than any other year. I mean, we have challenges and successes across the board. Not to go too far back, but, we have the Great Depression and then what happened in 2008 with the housing market and the economy. And then you had COVID. And then we're in a similar state where it's just unknown. And instead of running around with my hairs on fire, which people do, it's panic. I'm like, well, let's lean into the mission. As you know, I work for the Morgan Adams Foundation with pediatric cancer research, and the mission hasn't changed. We are here to serve the community and to help kiddos who are experiencing cancer. It doesn't matter where the economy is. And what I challenge people, I love looking at it, of reinventing the wheel a little bit, is even in times when it is sometimes a struggle, think outside of the box. What else can we do to help promote the relationships? Because the mission hasn't changed. The mission is to have people thrive in Lone Tree. And it's, how does my family thrive? It is to educate the children. It is to keep them healthy and safe and know that they are loved unconditionally. And if we all have that same format, which I think most people do, that's all really we want. I shouldn't say it's all we want, but it's what we strive for. And then to bring it on a more global scale and to work together.
Could not have, perfectly said, perfectly articulated.
You are my mentor. I'm putting you down as mine. I knew from the moment, that moment stands to me. When I leaned over to you when we were at the foundry, I'm like, I have to meet that woman. I'm going to go talk to her, because it was just opened my eyes to, this is a fresh, wonderful approach, and it's about relationships. So, it's pretty amazing. And how involved you are is outstanding. So
Thank you.
We did have another couple questions.
Yeah.
Did you have some as well?
Yeah. So I'll start out with the first one. Listener is asking about changes coming to Lone Tree, especially development you mentioned a little bit earlier on there, but curious especially about commercial properties, etc. Just what's planned for Lone Tree in the near future.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Lone Tree is 9.6 square miles. In 2000, the voters voted to annex or add in the Ridgegate development, which is where I live on the west side of the highway, and we have undeveloped land on the east side of the highway. And so when we look at the North Star in our vision, really what we continue to talk about is that we want this thriving, diverse economy that's destination oriented, which I touched on. So part of what guides us is called our comprehensive plan. Every city has one. So it's the it's the document that says where you're headed. And we just updated ours, and ours really continues to speak to the same things we've always spoken to, is we want a high quality of life for our residents. They love it, they desire it, and but we also want a vibrant community that's walkable. And so the big ones that I'll touch on right now is on the east side of our city, we have a ton of housing going in. We have everything from senior living to single family homes and basically everything in between. And having a diversity of housing, I think, is really important.
This is kind of east of I-25
Yep,
by
in Ridgeton.
Meridian area.
Yep.
Okay.
So Meridian is not within Lone Tree,
Right.
but just south of Meridian. So when you drive down Ridgegate Parkway, if you look to the south, you'll see a ton of housing happening. And we have Shea, Infinity, Thrive, and Local Homes all building houses right now. And when you look to the west, or I'm sorry, when you look north, there's a ton of undeveloped land, and that will eventually be the Lone Tree City Center, where the light rail right now stops in the middle of a field. There is not much happening there, but what we do know is that in order to support a diversity of commercial opportunities, you have to have housing. So the housing comes first, and then the opportunity for commercial. And our desire is exactly what I just shared, is that we want something that is destination oriented, but is special and unique, and fits well within our vision. And then if we jump over to our entertainment district, adjacent to Park Meadows Retail Resort, that really has some opportunity. Let's say that. And so we're really excited. We have Jack's being built right now on the corner of Yosemite and Park Meadows Drive. It's going to be a great 2-story seafood steakhouse. Very high end and excited
Really
about
looking
that.
forward to that.
It's going to be great. We also had 303 Sports Grill just open in the old brewery bar.
Yeah.
9070 Maximus Drive is where the Trio used to be and is now a vacant property. We're getting really close. Very close on sharing some exciting development opportunities there. And then, of course, where the movie theater is, the theater's been closed for well over a year. And my number one ask when I was running for mayor, and still that I'm asked, is like, what are we doing there?
Right.
And what I hope and desire is that it will become a place where you go, you park, and you stay, and maybe you start one place and you end up in another, and maybe there's park space, and you really feel like you're able to run into your neighbors there and people you know. And so I'm excited about the opportunity that we have within the entertainment district for redevelopment, which I think is just as important. But one thing I'll say is that we have always had smart growth according to plan. And so we will continue to use that guiding document to guide council to make really good decisions for what's to come in the future.
Nice. It sounds like a lot of growth is coming. How many current residents are in Lone Tree?
So we have just over 15,000 residents.
Okay.
And the growth we think could be somewhere between 25 and 35,000 residents at full build out. So,
Okay.
and that will determine, a lot of that is based on what the market does, right? Is it going to be, maybe hopefully we can have more condos be built in partnership with our state legislators to really roll back some of the construction defects reform and get that across the line. But really what we want is that we have a good amount of residents and a great amount of commercial space that our residents are excited about, and along with parks and arts and cultural opportunities within our city, and that creates that thriving economy we're talking about.
Nice. Well, we will be at Lone Arts Center,
Lone Tree
Lone Tree Art Center. There we go. Almost got it. At the tank this week. I think it's Wednesday. Yeah,
Yes.
where K4CO is the, what are we?
Sponsor.
A tank.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, we're a shark. There we go.
I love it.
It was coming
You're
to
a
me.
shark
I
in the
hope
tank.
people are watching.
Yes.
We're swimming in the beautiful tank and biting people. So we'll be excited to be
Well,
at the
supporting our
Arts Center.
nonprofits in that event
Yes.
is so important, and
For sure.
And you know, that's one great opportunity that the Lone Tree has taken, is we have this crown jewel. We the Art Center falls under, we own it as a city, and so that's under our purview. And we have an incredible executive director, Lee Chandler, who continues to program it with all sorts of great different shows that will come on the main stage, and also all ages and abilities. There's something for everyone. But one great part is that it's a business venue, and so they use it for things with South Metro Chamber often. We had the Space Symposium there. I mean, you name it, it's come into the Art Center, and it's just this amazing venue for any and everyone.
Nice. For the commercial space that you are predicting will come, This is a two-part question. So you said it will grow to maybe 25, 30,000. I'm curious on the time frame that is kind of looking at that. Is that 1 year? Is that 7 years, 10 years?
Yeah, that's a great question.
And what type of commercial businesses are you looking for? Is it like the Target and Walmart's coming, or is it more the small to medium-sized businesses?
Well, if you ask me, I want all small businesses because that's who I am, and everyone knows I plug it all the time, which is great. But as I'll touch on your timeline question first. Really, that is, I always say we all hope that things are done just like Jack's is at our new restaurant. You would think it would be built just overnight, and it does take some time. So same with our growth of our residential. I would say we're 5 to 20 years, if I'm being totally transparent. And then so much of that is dictated on the market and also what comes in the commercial space. Sometimes we can move faster, or interest rates drop and then housing's going quicker. And so we're in constant communication with our developers, with our housing developers too, to make sure that the cadence is right, and seeing where things are at, and they're all having great success with selling houses right now. So some of that's timeline based. And then the other part of your question was, what are we looking at as far as commercial space? So we just approved a large King Soopers in the Ridgegate couplet at 128,000 square feet. King Soopers marketplace with a gas station and 6 retail locations, which will be great. If you drive down Ridgegate splits apart, and we call that middle part the couplet. And so it'll be a left turn only access, whatever way you're traveling down Ridgegate, and a great opportunity. We need another large grocer in Lone Tree, but when we look to the city center, we're looking for something really special to kick things off. And so the great thing about Lone Tree is I'm constantly seeing what's out there and sharing with people this beautiful parcel of undeveloped land that has great transportation access. Not only do we have 5 total light rail stops in the city of Lone Tree, 2 that are really accessible to the downtown city center, 2 major highway exits, the Lone Tree Link. We want it to be connected with trails and pedestrian friendly. And so we will just continue to share with many people about the opportunity. But what I want to see is a diversity of businesses. So I would imagine we'd have some sort of commercial office space would be, and then that would also help support some smaller businesses, maybe some larger businesses. So we need to continue to do what we've always done, and that's having a diversity of businesses. And I think that's where we're most successful.
Okay. When does Jack's open? That's
We're
my
hoping
big question.
winter, fall.
Okay.
So I think
That my favorite thing to eat would be a filet and lobster.
I agree.
Every time I drive by it, I'm like, oh, we're so close.
I think we in our future, I think I can foresee a little happy hour there.
I would love that. Okay, we're getting it on the books. I know that. Well, we're getting a little close on time. I could talk to you. We need a full day interview with you. I know this is far off because you've only been here a year. Your time has just begun, thank goodness. What would you say is your ultimate goal as a mayor? That could be a couple different things. I know you've hit on a whole bunch of things, but for the next mayor, when they look back and say, Mayor Harmon accomplished X, what would you want your legacy to be?
Oh, this is just a fantastic question. When I think really long term, why I wanted to lean in, I always thought about what would my kids and this younger generation want when I'm gone, because so much of the work, we can plant the trees, but we'll really never see it fully grown, right? And so we want to make sure that it's done in the right way, and that I want my kids and this generation to look back and go, oh my gosh, she gave us a great place that we can live for generations and be proud of, whether that's, parks or access to commercial or transportation. And when the next mayor comes in after me, I hope that they look back and see that we were really successful on what our community has desired. And that's that they want to stay in Lone Tree and support Lone Tree as far as businesses, restaurants. They want more amenities within our city, and I hope that we have a lot of success doing that, and they can look back and reflect and go, okay, now we'll just continue to build on the strong foundation that was set by this council.
That is beautifully said. What do you tell your kiddos when you get home, how your day was?
It is the cutest thing. They always ask, "How was your meeting? What'd you talk about?" And my younger daughter, she is just a riot. She'll be like, "So, did you talk about police department? Did you talk about roads? Did you like?" And so it's just, you can imagine the different meetings that I attend, and all the different topics we touch on. But I always share with my kids what's going on when they ask, and then I also try not to only talk about mayor things with them because, but this weekend it was really fun to. We kicked it off our 30th anniversary with a pancake breakfast, and my younger daughter asked if she could introduce me. They asked me to speak a few times, of course. That's one thing was surprising becoming mayor, how many times you speak. I mean, you speak a lot, but there are sometimes you're speaking 3 or 4 times in a day. So that was a surprise, which I loved. But she grabbed the microphone and said, "This is my mommy, Mayor Marissa Harmon." And she just handed it over. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like you're really good at that." So after I said, "Were you nervous?" She's like, "Oh no." I mean, it's
good
been
for her.
so fun to expose them to all the work that we're doing, and whether it's hard and challenging conversations and solutions we're looking at, or it's like a really great day where we're celebrating some big wins. It's fun to be able to share with my family what we have going on, and they're a part of helping me be successful. We all know that we lean in on our village, and whether it's my parents coming to bring someone to tutoring or a softball game, or my sister helping me watch the kids, or my husband travels a little bit for work. He's just been a delight and always being there to cheer me on from the side with my girls, which has just been a part of the journey and the successes that we've shared so far.
I love it. I have a 6-year-old son, and he went through a lot of health issues the first couple years, and he handled it with such poise and grace and empathy. And he has become my biggest teacher in life. And just to see the world through these fresh, innocent eyes, and it's just as silly as somewhere where I park. He's like, "You need to look at it a little bit differently," and to see really what they get to see is amazing.
I love
But I love that you get to teach your girls the same stuff, and
Thank
to
you.
be this confident, amazing, take charge, entrepreneurial. You can do whatever you want. And I love that you're following your passion too. And when sometimes people can see, you alluded to this earlier, something that we don't see about ourselves. I think it's Jahari's window, if I remember correctly. Do you know
Yes,
that?
yes, I've heard of this.
And I think sometimes for myself, I get so kind of tunnel focused, and other people are like, this could be possible for you. And I love that you had that from your daughter and from your husband. It's like, you know what? You need to do this. Jump out of the frying pan into the fire, and look at you. You're amazing.
Thank you so very much.
Yeah, of course. I didn't want to. Did you have more questions that came up?
Nope, we're good.
Okay.
Just answering a little bit.
Okay. And I know you guys are very outdoorsy.
Yes.
Which I love. I mean, you met your husband on top of Manitou Spring. I mean, if I climb an incline and I'm finding my mate for life, and I have a very red face and I'm sweating profusely, it's a good shot it might work.
Especially at the top of it's just like, "Hey, how's it going?" And then you get married. Like,
I'd
I
be
find
like,
it awesome.
"Just give me a minute. I might fall over, and then maybe I can talk." I mean, how did you know in that moment that maybe this guy is the right one?
Oh,
Were you
man.
so out of breath? And did
Yes,
he catch
and
you?
he
as you
actually
were
kind of
falling?
blew me off. He was like,
I hope he's listening.
no, he's like, I thought I was gonna be sick. He had hit a record time going up to the top, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then he came back over, and turns out he knew someone I was with, and it was just this small world moment. And 5 months later, he proposed to me on the top of the incline. So
Oh my
it's really,
gosh.
really special, a special place for us. But we are also whitewater rafters, and so. And backpackers. And so we just love everything that Colorado has to offer outdoors. And as many of us know, I think we're all attached to our email and the hundreds of texts that are coming in. And so to be able to get somewhere where there's no cell phone service and just unplug, and there's nothing I can do about anything right now because I'm just in nature, and it forces all of us to be really, really present. And that's my favorite part, whether it's teaching my kids to read a map of the river or talking to them about what they want to do in their life. I mean, there's nothing more present than being outside for 8-9 days at a time, and just spending some really good quality family time and time with friends. So it's our favorite thing to do is get outside and enjoy all Colorado has to offer.
I love that. And what a beautiful state to do it in. I love it. Intentionally present.
Yes.
It is my most favorite moments of the night or of the day is at nighttime when I'm putting my kiddo down. No electronics, no electronics. It's pitch black, and we kind of hold each other's hands, and it's just talk about your day and talk about your weekend. And it's to be so present in those moments. I find if you can grab those through the day, and to me that's the relationship building. Like what we're doing here is my most favorite part out of anything I do is to get to know who they are, why they're doing what they're doing, because it's so fascinating, and to really connect. That one-on-one is so important. I'm glad that you hit on that point.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. And water rafting, we have a beautiful state to do that.
We
all
really
of it.
do.
Backpacking, mountain biking,
Same
all
thing
of it.
though. I would have never guessed we'd be whitewater rafters. It kind of like fell on our lap, but I have to say it's incredible. I mean, we've been some amazing places and been able to show the girls how important it is to just enjoy nature.
And it's team building too.
Yeah.
You have to really trust the other people in
Yes,
the boat. When I told you it's on the left side and when I said row hard, we actually mean row hard. Yeah. It's a lot of communication.
Yes.
Just saying. Well, thank you so much for coming in. Is there anything on the horizon that you wanted to make sure that we mentioned?
I just wanted to say thank you so much. Part of, I think, what makes our community so unique and special is when we get the opportunities to just get to know each other better and share where our passions lie. And I really think that the City of Lone Tree is so lucky to be able to have great council members, an incredible community of residents and businesses that continue to just lean in and serve and show up and share what's important to them and how we can make sure that we have a city that everybody loves to call home, or if you visit, that you love to come shop and dine in. But we can't do that alone. And we get to do that through great business partnerships like with you guys. So thank you for inviting me. I really, really appreciate the opportunity to share what I'm passionate about, but the work that you're doing to get communication out there and education for people that are tuning in, I think is really impactful for all of us. So thank you both for leaning in and having over 160 of these interviews and growing. So
No, we love it. We knew it. Well, this is his baby, and he texted me in 23 saying, I want to start a radio station for Colorado and highlight nonprofits and Colorado musicians and the small to medium-sized businesses. I'm like, we can do this because it is. We're very involved in the chamber. We love the ribbon cuttings. We love our politicians and everybody. It's just an incredible way to give back.
well, thank you so much for being able to share the message through this channel. It's really, really important.
We do it together.
It's one of the biggest pleasures, just meeting a bunch of small businesses and owners. And I love with nonprofits, there's always this passion behind it. There's a reason why it was started. And that's my favorite. And I know it's hers too. So
It definitely is.
yeah. Well, thank you very much. We absolutely loved having you in here, and we're going to be keeping in touch. So, of course.
Of course.
And I do
Yes.
have one quick question, though. Have you ever been skydiving?
No, but should I?
I
Yes.
think you should.
I think you're going to say it on the radio right now.
Oh, no.
He and I go every year, and Josh's lovely mom, who's out there, she didn't want to do it for 2 years, and I lovingly talked her to go. I'm like, if you like whitewater rafting, you'll do it. And she did it last summer and loved it.
Okay, I'll do it. I mean, it's making my palms sweaty right now, but like,
We
you're
have
not living
video.
if you don't have that. So.
Okay,
Exactly.
I am so excited. Okay,
Once
well,
a
you're
year,
going.
we do it. So,
Yes.
all right.
We
Well, I
go
have to join you guys then.
I
Yes,
absolutely.
definitely.
Mile High Skydiving in Longmont. We go every year, and it's absolutely amazing.
Well, I can't wait.
And so peaceful too. I know people think I'm nuts, but I love it. I've done maybe 20 jumps, and it's so amazing. Once the chute opens, you get to see the entire state of Colorado. I mean, it's absolutely
I'm in.
breathtaking. Yes, we have proof.
I'm
which
nervous,
I
but
love.
I'm in.
I love it. Bring your hubby if he's into it. You
I'm
know.
in.
yeah.
Absolutely. That
Very
would be
cool.
incredible.
Well, thank you again for coming in. For those of you that tuned in, and if you didn't get to see all of it, it will be up on Facebook for a month and saved forever on YouTube on K4CO Radio. We've had the beautiful Mayor Marissa Harmon of Lone Tree in. Again, if you want to call or text, which is so amazing, please utilize this. If you live in Lone Tree, or if you have a question for City Council, or for Marissa herself, 720-582-3586, or you can go online at cityoflonetree.com and find out about everything that's going on in Lone Tree. So educate yourself and find out something new. Challenge you. Go find something new in your city today.
Your backyard is much more important than what's going on nationally, I think.
It's all important.
It is
It's
all
good to have a
important,
pulse
but,
on it, but
yeah.
I agree. This is where you work and your kids go to school and where you live. So
Exactly.
know something what's going on.
Yep. Well, thank you again, Ms. Harmon. This interview has been brought to you by Innovative Events. Go to innovent.com, 720-588-0830, Innovative Events. This has been Josh and Sarah with the Mayor of Lone Tree, Marissa Harmon. Thank you very much for being in here again. We really appreciate it. Definitely stay tuned. We have a great day of music for you, and thanks for tuning in for K4CO Interviews. Take care.